NT Media Productions presents I'm Making It Happen. I'm Making It Happen is brought to you in part by Cost You Less, your best value on St. Croix, and the Women's Coalition of St. Croix as we recognize the National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims on Friday, September 25th. The USVI needs healing. Please stop the violence. A message from the Women's Coalition of St. Croix for the National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims.
Being fired several times, maybe you are pursuing the wrong path. Maybe you're supposed to be more original. Maybe you're supposed to be your own boss. Maybe you're supposed to start your own thing and not try to find somebody else to give you a paycheck.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of I'm Making It Happen. I'm Nicole Tyson, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Adriana Veliz, and she's originally from Venezuela, and I'm so excited to tell her story. She lives here in St. Croix, but she's making some amazing things happen despite the odds. And so we're going to find out a little bit more about how she's making it happen here in St. Croix and how she's able to keep moving forward and progress. So thank you so much, Adriana, for being on I'm Making It Happen.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's exciting for me to be able to be here and talk about, some of the things I have been able to overcome to achieve some things.
Yeah, and I was excited because we just had a conversation briefly at one of the food vans, and you were telling me some amazing things, and I was like, I wish I had a recorder so we could have captured all of that. And so I'm so excited that we're able to have you today, and it's beautiful day that is so hot, but it's nice and breezy so we can enjoy the day. So just tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I was born in Venezuela, and I left Venezuela in 1997. But back then I was also doing music. That was my main thing. All my life was music, singing. And it was great, but then I left, moved to Puerto Rico. It was wonderful there also. And then stopped by the Virgin Islands and stay. And once I got to the Virgin Islands, I didn't speak English. So it was quite a challenge because for me to get a job, something like that, it was quite difficult until the time came where I had to have a job.
Wow, that is amazing. You came, so you just fell in love with St. Croix when you stopped here?
Yes, I actually stopped by in 2002 with Jazz in the Moonlight. I'm not sure if you ever heard about that. It was a jazz concert that used to happen in St. John, but then they also moved to, we had like a show in St. Thomas and then one here in St. Croix. And when I came over, I was like, wow, I wish I could come back someday. And it happened, and here I am.
So what made you fall in love with St. Croix? What did you like most about it here as opposed to anywhere else that you had traveled to?
Well, what impressed me was that day that we visit for the concert, the taxi driver was talking about the history of St. Croix. And the whole time we were driving to the hotel, or he was driving to the hotel. And I was like fascinated by what he was saying and the beauty of the island. And I was like, wow, I have to come back. I hope I get to come back. And once the opportunity arrived, I knew that, I will have opportunities also here the same way I had in St. John. So I moved.
So, but what specifically did you find? I mean, I know this because many times when you go to many islands, you hear about the history. What was it about here that made you say like, wow, I want to live here?
It was more peaceful, like a little more laid back, and that's the kind of things that I like. Like I like to do what I love, but not under stress, not in a hurry. No, I don't like to feel like I have to compete while driving to work or in that kind of stress all the time.
I feel because that's the same way I feel. I like to be busy, but I don't like my surroundings to be busy with me. That's just too much. But so that's amazing that you said that you came here and you didn't even know any English, but you speak so perfect English. So how did you learn English so well?
I learned English, like I said before. I needed a job when I was living in St. John, and I walked into to this flower shop. I was like, I would love to work in here. So walking there, someone was with me and talked to the manager, and actually the owner of the flower shop, and she said, okay, I'll hire her. So I started working there cleaning the buckets because obviously I can't do anything else, not even answer the phone. But by the second day, she asked me if I would like to learn. She found someone that speaks Spanish and English, and the person asked me, say, yes, I would love to learn. So she teach me the craft. And also, while I was there, I had no one else to speak in Spanish. And I feel more in love with the language. I start reading the newspaper. She pushed me to answer the phone, to take care of the customers, to help them out. And I learned so fast that I went from that job to be her designer, and from her designer to be her manager. And yeah, and all the time she was telling me, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the way you have learned and get to this point that you are my highest worker, my highest employee, and the ones that make more money. You started making less than anyone else, now you make more than anyone else. And she always makes sure to let me know. And I think I didn't do that because I wanted at that point to be the best there, but because I was having fun, I was learning, and I only put my attention on what I was learning, and how even though I was Venezuelan and my English wasn't perfect, nobody cared. They just loved the fact that I was trying, I was there, I was responsible, persistent, and never give up. You know, I never give up. I never stopped think, oh, they're judging me because my English is terrible. No, I just communicate. I know I need to communicate, so I'm gonna do my best to communicate. And I did great. I'm proud of myself too.
Give yourself a pat on the back and give you a high five too. That's awesome. So, what would you give, and I usually do tips in the end, but since we're on this topic, what advice would you give somebody trying to learn another language, be it another person that speaks Spanish as their first language, or any other person trying to speak another language? What tips would you give them in regards to accomplishing that or achieving that?
Number one, don't try to be a perfectionist when you're trying to learn a new language. Please don't do that. Because I noticed that when you get yourself into the books, oh, I need to learn the grammar first, I need to speak the language but perfectly because people are going to judge me, well, it's going to take you forever, or you may give up. You have to make it fun. If I don't speak English, but I want to communicate with you, that's the fun part. I try to communicate with you. I know you're going to help me, you're going to correct me, and we start this friendship, and then I had to surround myself with the people from that culture of that language I want to learn.
Awesome. Well, I would never even tell that you came here and did not know how to speak English, because you're into so many things. But tell us a little bit of what you do here now on St. Croix.
Okay, here in St. Croix, right now I am tutoring, I'm working as an instructor, Spanish instructor at one of the schools here, a private school. I'm also going to be teaching art at the same school. I have my own band, my own groups, Romanza. Many people know the group already. Ritmo del 12 is a bilingual TV show that airs in one of the local stations, an island too. And a lot of people also, when they see me, you're from the show, I love the show. And I love that opportunity also because it helps me to get to know more people from the community and what they are doing. Sometimes we think, oh, well, our community is sleeping, nobody's doing anything, but that's not true. Like, look at you, for example. You are looking for people in the community. They are doing what they have to do to be part of it, to make it better. So when we have people visiting the island, oh wow, this person is from St. Croix or live there, and look what they are doing. So you were one of those people that helps. So it's like so many other things. I actually, what I do is I write a list of the things that I want to do. What would I like to do? Especially when I get bored. What is it that I haven't done that I would like to do? Then I write my list, and I'm like, how am I going to do that? But I don't think about how I'm going to do it. I just make my list, and I put it away. And suddenly, things start to happen, and I start doing the things that were on my list. And it's awesome.
And I tell people that all the time, and I even told that to a family member of mine, a cousin, my younger cousin, and I was like, they want to achieve certain things. I said, write your list. What do you want? Write the list. And he was like, just write the list. And I said, yes. By writing the list down, you make it more concrete to yourself. And it makes you start thinking, even without you knowing, that you start thinking about how do you want to achieve this when you write it down. But if you just have it in your head, it doesn't have any kind of life to it until you write it down.
I think what happens with that is that we have so many thoughts, so many ideas, things that happen through the day, and then you have this great idea. Oh, that's an awesome idea. I should do that. And then you tell your friends, but it ends like that, like a thought that you share with someone, and the person say, yeah, that's an awesome idea, but nobody does anything about it. And it disappears, and then somebody else have the idea, and oh my God, that was, my idea before. But if you write it down and then you go back and you read, and it's like, yeah, that was a nice idea. Let me see. I know some people that I may talk to, and they are in the same path or have been there before. And I'm going to say this. Some people don't like to write the same way.
They don't like to what?
They don't like to write down things. And they don't like to read, or they don't like to write. But it's very important to write things down. You need to have your own notebook or journal where you write down your ideas, even what happens to you through the day, how you overcome what happened to you through the day, because it helps a lot. And that's all I had to say. It has worked for me, can work for you.
Now that's a major thing, writing down. I know in the past I haven't been good at, I write down my ideas and my thoughts and my goals all the time. And it's a big thing that when you have an idea, write it down then, because you think you're going to remember it later and you forget it, especially when that aha moment comes. It's like you have to have something and write it down, because you will forget. But I could do better with, the whole daily thing, because that helps you when you're processing. How did you, when you're going back to see, well, how did you really make it through certain situations and accomplish certain things? It's a good way to have a reminder and also help people.
Exactly. We also forget the things that we have achieved. We tend to do that. We remember the things we did wrong, but not the things that we did right. And we find more people to remind us the things that we did wrong, but not the things that we did right. And hey, don't write down what you did wrong, or that mistake, or about that divorce, or that they fired you from there. If you're being fired several times, maybe you are pursuing the wrong path. Maybe you're supposed to be more original. Maybe you're supposed to be your own boss. Maybe you're supposed to start your own thing and not try to find somebody else to give you a paycheck. Give yourself your paycheck. But it takes a little bit of time with yourself to think about that. Maybe I don't supposed to have somebody to tell me how good I am. Maybe I had to tell that to myself.
And that's a big thing too, telling yourself, having confidence in yourself. And because sometimes when you do have ideas, you have more naysayers that tell you it can't work than more people that tell you that it can work and how you can achieve it. And so sometimes you do have to rely on yourself and stop seeking outside, outside validation. Outside validation. You have to validate yourself and inoculate yourself at times. But that's why writing down your notes, your ideas, reading books. We have so many things on YouTube that you can watch.
You don't even have to read anymore. Sorry, you don't even need to read anymore. Everything, even audiobooks. You're cleaning your house, play an audiobook, and there you go. You stop. Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like something I want to remember later. And find help. It's for free everywhere, and you can achieve. And I know there's a lot of people, like I was once in my life, you don't know what you want. What do I want? I don't know what I want. And that's a really sad place to be, because nobody can tell you what you want. You have to find out what you want. So in my case, that's why I start making my list, because I got a list of the things that I wanted to do, but I don't know if I had the talent to do that. Nobody's going to tell me I have the talent. So, and then I wrote down my fears too, because I think most of the time we need validation because of our fears. We have fears, and that's so strong. It's very strong. People say, oh, but just face your fear. How do you face your fears? I don't think people teach us how to face our fears.
You don't learn that too. How do you face your fears if you don't acknowledge you have fears? Because a lot of people want to act and walk around like they don't have fears. Everyone has fears. Everyone feels insecure at times. You don't feel like you're the best at what you're doing, and you know, everyone compares themselves. That's natural, but you need to accept and acknowledge the fears that you have, and that's first of all writing down, and then what are you going to do to overcome those imperfections in yourself that you feel that you can improve on, and the fears and whatnot. And that's why it's so important to associate yourself with good people. You know, like you said, the person that you were working for was very positive, and they kept encouraging you. Instead of saying, "Hey, you're not speaking good enough. Go do something else." You know, she kept encouraging you, and that means you wanted to keep growing and learning and doing better. And it's the same thing with our fears. Once you write it down, acknowledge it, and then you have people around you to help support you in growing. Then that's how you become better. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, you know, there's so many different things that we've already delved into so many of the tips that I do at the end, but I want to talk about your journey from Venezuela, and that, I mean, that's hard. I mean, we're seeing it in paper all the time, the things that's happening in Venezuela with the government there, and how has that affected you and your family, if you're okay to talk about that, and how have you been able to stay strong and, you know, progress despite that?
The situation with my country has been happening slowly for 17 years. I'll say 18. And so we have been trying to work on our faith that things are going to change for the better, but then they don't. And they start getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where we are right now in a dictatorship. That's what it is. For me personally, it's been very difficult not to be able to see my family, my parents. No one from all my family is there. Okay, I don't know when I'll be able to see them again. I keep in contact with them. I help them as much as I can. Help my friends, and any Venezuelan I meet outside my country, which is one of my goals right now, is to find a way on how to help as many as I can. And with my family, my parents have suffered a lot. My sister, my nephews, everybody. I mean, last time I saw my nephews, they were in diapers. Now they're already dating and graduated. So for my parents, it's really hard because they are at the point where they think that they're never going to see me again. Because for me, it has been very difficult to get back my documentation that proves that I am Venezuelan, and because they have changed the Venezuelan ID so much, and they have some more regulations now, and they don't really like Venezuelan. They have left for the new government, or for that government, we are traitors. We don't love our country because we are outside now. So they make it very difficult for us to go back, and but it will change. I know that it will change. So that's where I get my strength from. They need me. They need a strong. My parents need a strong daughter, and my brothers and sisters, strong sister. They all need me to be strong because they have their own fights over there, and the only help they have outside is me. So I need to stay positive. Number one. Be always problem solving for any emergency. Like when I call and they're very sad and my mom cries, I cannot cry with her. I had to have the words to say, the right words to say, to lift her spirit. And it was kind of difficult in the beginning because all I can say was, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Now I don't say that. Now it's like, everything is going to be fine. Be grateful that you, even though there are things that you cannot find, you still receive the money you need to find other stuff, that nobody is starving, and things like that. And then she's like, no, you're right. And then she started being grateful. And that's helped me too. One of the things I do is every day I write down the things I'm grateful for. I am grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. It was kind of difficult in the beginning because I wasn't that committed to write, but then if I skip 3 days, now I have to write 3 sentences for each day about the things that I am grateful for. And that have given me so much strength. And that's one of the tools that I use, and that's one of the things that help me stay strong. And also, I have my kids too. I had 2 kids, and they're my only bloodline. So outside my country, that's my closest family. Apart from my friends and the people that care about me and are around me, definitely, yeah. I have things to be grateful for and strong.
No, I would never know that you're dealing with that.
Nobody knows. I think I learned how to stay happy 90% of the time, for not say 100. And it's because of that. I learned that it's not the end when you think it's the end. It's not going to end that at that moment. There's more. And it's up to us to make that the end or just the beginning of something else that's going to come, and then it's going to be better. And that's when I said I feel like I want to help my Venezuelan fellow Venezuelans, is because they are going through right now things that I went through. And when I met one and it's in their bones because they just left Venezuela and they are hungry and they don't have a job, nobody's trying to help, it touches me. And it's like you cannot, and I'm going to say this for your local, for any citizen, for your own kind, if you want to put it that way, help. Your neighbor is your family. Your best friend is your family. The person from Russia is your family. Help. That is, so for me, when I meet a Venezuelan, it's like, okay, I don't know who she is or he is, what kind of, how he got here or not. All I know is that it needs me. And whatever I can do to help, I am going to help. And then, because that person is going to help another one, and another one, and another one. And that's how I see it. You don't have to see it as, what do I get? Why do I always have to give? Well, thank God you have something to give. Thank God, Thank God I have something to give to someone else, and not that I need someone else to give it to me. That's a blessing. That's abundance. Okay, that's abundance. You have abundance, share it. And that's where I get my smile from. It's like my spirit lifts. I have something to give.
Yes, definitely. You're giving a lot just in the conversation. And I think a lot of people here, especially in the Virgin Islands, first of all, you have to know that you can make it happen. If individuals and, come from other countries that can't speak English, come to an English-speaking place and they make it and is positive, then those that are around us that's here should be able to figure out a way to make it happen. And it starts with being positive. Like you said, being grateful for what you have, and then compounding on that. And because I always say, because it seems like on social media so many times people are just so quick to be negative. Whatever you focus on, it says whatever you focus on is what increases. Whatever you focus on is what you attract. And so if you keep a positive, even though you might be feeling, distressed or sad, but if you keep thinking positive thoughts, if you keep thinking about how, you can improve your situation, then at some point you're going to have a breakthrough and it's going to, get better.
Yes, exactly. Like I said before, when it comes to stay positive, yes, it's kind of challenging, because in my case, I was using my Facebook page to share all the news from my country, and it's not beautiful news. It's bad, it's ugly. And the reason I was doing that, it's not because I want to share more of the negativity that's going on, but because there's a lot of people and also in my own country, those there have no access to the news, to what's really going on. So my parents in their city have no idea what's going on in Caracas, but they think everything is fine. But in Caracas, a lot of stuff is going on, and in Valencia. But then I was like, okay, it's affecting me also, because instead of me looking at how to help and looking at the terrible things that's happening. So that's something that it wasn't until I stopped and realized it, who am I helping? Why do they need to know how bad it is in the other state? I better just leave it like that. I'm going to clean up my Facebook page, and I'm not going to share anymore. I'm not the news. So, but it takes a lot for you to stop and realize, how am I helping? Am I really helping? Is there a better way to help? And the news and the media, yes, it distracts us. It's good that it's there, we get entertained, we get the news, we get everything, but at the same time distract us from what we're supposed to really be doing. So can we make time during the day? Well, this is for my entertainment with media, and the rest of the time is for other things that are important for me, for my family, etc. So you had to just plan it, like I think you mentioned it before. Have a plan, make your schedule, and you'll have time for everything. Especially in St. Croix, we have time for everything in one day. Absolutely everything. I mean, someone from here said, I don't have time for anything. Really? Why? There's time for everything. It's a beautiful island, less traffic. You can go to the beach anyone you want in one day, go to the movies, go to work, help your kids, cook. I mean, you can do anything in one day. So it's just, you have to want to do it.
Yes, and it's also just making, like, again, having a set schedule, you know, prioritizing, making a time, because all of us at the same time in a day, it's just about how we use it and how we really strategize our days. We don't really, a lot of people wake up and don't have a plan for their day. You have a plan, you know you're going to work. Right. But then after that, what are you doing? Before that, what are you going to do? And all of those times, and in between that, what are you doing? And so, you know, maybe you set your time up before you leave work for everything. When you leave work, what you can go and do after. Go to the gym, go to the beach, go see your family member, go help a friend. Those kind of things is setting it up beforehand, because when you get home, by the time you get home, you might just want to go to sleep.
For example, maybe you are a stay-home mom, but you always wanted to do jewelry. Well, maybe you can learn how to do jewelry at home. There's so many videos on how to, or anything else. Maybe having your own YouTube channel and make some money teaching other moms how to be a great mom. And start somewhere, and then when those kids grow up and they are in their own, you have something, and you have other new ideas. I mean, there's so much.
Yeah, new skills, because making it happen isn't just about money, business, and things. Making it happen is whatever you want to achieve, you know. And there's so many things that we could learn and just upbuild ourselves, you know, have us be more competent in so many things that wasn't available before we had the internet. Can you give us an example?
Well, I have gone through a lot of stuff that you have no idea. Especially when I was living in my country. One of the toughest things I went through, I was kidnapped when I was in Venezuela for a week. Okay, that was in 1996, and there was no way to communicate with my family.
This was an NT Media production. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's a sociable thing to do.